So I had a very interesting epiphany today that I mean, it's something that I already knew, right? But it's like sometimes when you sit with things, maybe they look a little bit different. Maybe the tint shows itself in a different way. Maybe a different hue presents itself. What I'm going to talk about is something that Joe Dispenza talks about. And it's a matter of change. It's about changing as an individual. And what he says is very simple. He talks about how all you have to do is choose something different or choose the different thing, right? It's about stepping beyond what is comfortable and familiar and just choosing something different. Like, for instance, something that I'm used to, something that I have been used to for a long time, is unpredictability, right? That's something that I learned at some point in my life. And I realize that it shines through in different ways from just relationships. It's also whenever I go on my phone and I mindlessly scroll on social media. It's unpredictable. You don't ever know what it is that you're going to see. You might be able to take a guess because you know who it is that you're following on whatever platform it is, but you don't know, right? And I've realized that one of the biggest things that I need to get out of my life, especially for my healing, is unpredictability. And the amount of time that I actually do spend just mindlessly scrolling on social media and seeing things that I can't really predict. And not only that, but also, like, I'll get sucked into a video that's completely irrelevant to my life. I've grown very tired of unpredictability because it doesn't do anything. It's unpredictable. You don't know what it's going to be. There's no foundation there. There's no element of safety, right? Something inside of me tells me, though, that if I have a schedule or a routine that is predictable, it will be boring. So part of me gets some sense of reward from the unpredictability, and I need to unlearn that. That's the thing here. But I was driving today, and I was like, all I have to do is choose to be different. It's a matter of being. This is all in regards to energy dynamics. Everything that I've ever experienced in my life, in terms of things and people, it all goes back to my energy and the way that I compose myself. Right? So, if I find myself as somebody who is comfortable with not making decisions right away, and of course, like, it's important to think before you make a decision, right? You need to have the logical side of things. You also need to have the emotional side of things, right? But there have been times in my life where I've taken forever, not just forever to make a decision. I don't make decisions sometimes, right? And so I looked at that and I was like, I was looking at that today and I was like, I don't like that at all. I don't like that about myself. And then I was looking at the people in my life and I was like, there's a lot of people in my life that maybe not a lot. Maybe not a lot of people in my life, but I'll just say that there are people in my life, and there are people that I have known that are not in my life anymore that, like, can't make decisions. And I've seen that has influenced me and that has fucked me up, because it has. I don't like to be somebody that doesn't make decisions or has a hard time making decisions. Like the eeny, meeny, no, that one, period. Next. And I was listening to an entrepreneur also talk about how, like, you can go so much faster and so much further in life if you can make decisions faster. Like, if it normally takes me, like, a week to make a decision, if I can make that decision in a day, I can go faster, right? This is what I'm talking about in terms of choosing to be different, choosing to do the thing different, the thing that's different, doing something differently, right? Stepping beyond what it is that I'm familiar with, what it is that I'm comfortable with. And here's something else that I've noticed too. Decisions that I've taken an absurdly long time to make, when I finally do make them, whatever gravity that I think it has over everything, it doesn't have. What I've come to understand is that a far majority of the things that I've believed are monumental and important are not. The mind makes everything so much bigger than it actually is. And I'm just like so sick of living that way. So I'm looking at this whole potential of just choosing to live differently. And I'm realizing that I can. Like, it's such a interesting thing to look at and see for what it is, because like today I can choose to be differently than I have been over the past, 10 years. It might be challenging because, to an extent I'm hardwired in regards to a certain way of thinking, feeling, and behaving, and altogether living, right? That's very real, but I can choose to do the different thing. Like, say, for instance, if my mental health is not in the best place and the answer to that is meditating, the good thing, the probably the best decision to do is meditate, right? And over the years, starting about 5 or 6 years ago, I have been meditating on a daily basis, and I feel fantastic. And that's the thing too. We'll talk about it in terms of timeline. I started, so a timeline started, right? And I never stopped. Every day I've meditated. So that was something that I chose to do differently. This could also be with following through with your word. This could also be with... It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that I always have the choice to do the different thing, or to do things differently, or to just be differently. I'm so... It must be like an epiphany right now, because previously I have known this. But now it's like, holy shit. And I reference... I can't really... I'm not going to do this because it would be... I'd have to do a spoiler warning, so I won't do that. But here's what I will say. I can run as fast as I fucking want to towards whatever it is that I want. I can. There's absolutely fucking nothing stopping me from doing that. I would argue that most oftentimes money is not actually necessary, and if money is necessary, the good news is I can go with OPM, other people's money, right? So like there's always an option. I can run as fast as I fucking want to, right? I can choose to wake up and be differently from how I've previously been. Like, that's fucking wild. It's fucking wild. It might be uncomfortable. It might be unfamiliar, right? It might be like, oh, this isn't what I've been used to over the past month or months. It could be, right? It could be totally different, but it's possible. Like, that in and of itself is just fucking fascinating to me. I'm looking at it and it's like, well, if it's possible, then I'll just do it, right? I believe that a person can change their life really fucking fast. And I don't want to consider this to be like all or nothing, black and white binary thinking, because I don't think that it is. I think that as long as a person knows exactly what it is that they want or need, nothing matters. Like, they can turn into the Flash. They can go as fast as they want to. I'm just so fascinated by this right now. This has to be like an epiphany that I'm going through, because, like, I can choose to be whoever the fuck I want to be right now. I can choose to be however the fuck I want to be right now. Like, if I choose to just fucking go 100,000,000 miles per hour, I know that that's probably not even a number, but, like, I can. I fucking can. It's fucking crazy.